You've probably heard of a Missouri law that prevents sex offenders from living near schools and daycares.
But a loophole is allowing convicted offenders to legally live next door to hundreds of places around the state where kids gather every day. Investigator Ryan Kath is here to explain how it's happening.
How about your days of the week?
At home, Angela Whitebread's daughter Amira is always by her side. Singing songs or jamming on the Elmo guitar. But when Mom is at work, she trusts First Baptist Daycare to keep an eye on her 3-year-old.
This is the street that my daughter's daycare sits on.
Back in February, Whitebread checked the sex offender registry and was upset to see several people living just a few hundred feet from the Independence Church.
So I'd actually called Jackson County, who stated they had just arrested somebody within the past week.
That someone was convicted child predator Randy Land, who is now accused of raping an 8-year-old girl. Graphic court documents detail a brutal assault, and it turned out the victim went to church at First Baptist.
I was completely mortified. I was sick to my stomach.
Angela assumed it was against the law for a sex offender to live so close to a place where more than 80 kids gather every day. She was wrong.
So to think that it just kind of bypassed them like a oops, we forgot, it's a loophole, that's a big concern to me.
Church leaders at First Baptist were also in shock.
Well, theoretically, the man could sit in his front yard where he was staying and see our church child care with the playground and the kids.
Pastor Kevin Payne knew about a Missouri law that prevents sex offenders from living within 1,000 feet of a school or daycare, but then he learned that restriction did not apply to his church.
Anger and disbelief. Anger because it was such an obviously crazy thing that children in church-sponsored child cares would not be protected, and disbelief that the law was written with that loophole and no one had ever thought about it before.
We took a closer look at the loophole, getting the locations of almost 500 church daycares across the state. We then compared those to the registered addresses of more than 11,000 sex offenders. Our research found a third of the daycares have an offender who is living within 1,000 feet. In all, an estimated 349 offenders currently live within that distance threshold.
They probably, when they passed it 20 years ago, were totally unaware of the loophole.
Neighbors of First Baptist urged Senator Victor Callahan to change the law, and he successfully passed an amendment before this year's session ended.
There's nothing that this law can do about what happened. We're simply relocking a door that was potentially unlocked.
It gives me some sense of relief, but not what a mother wants to feel completely. They want to feel that their child is safe from anything at all times. Gotta press it again.
A feeling Angela only gets in moments like this. She knows there are several other offenders already living legally within plain view of her daughter's playground. Ryan Kath, NBC Action News.
That new law takes effect at the end of August, but like other residency restrictions, it won't be retroactive. That means offenders currently living within 1,000 feet of a church daycare will be grandfathered in. If you want to see if a sex offender is living near your church daycare, go to NBCActionNews.com and check out our interactive map.